This is Texans TV.
A closer look at the guy who's played more games as a Houston Texan, plus Building the Texans debuts.
It gives me great honor to introduce David Culley, head coach of the Houston Texans.
It's all next on Texans 360.
We are ready to rock in Houston. Rock and roll. Oh, let's go!
Guess when you think you've seen it all, there's always something.
Well, hello, and welcome into Texans 360. We're very, very happy that you're with us. My name's Drew Dougherty. I'm your host, and we've got Cecil Shorts III. You played in the league for the better part of a decade. You played here with the Houston Texans. You okay?
I'm good, man.
We got a lot to discuss, because we're handing out a home to a veteran. Plus, we're taking a deeper look at one of his former teammates, long snapper John Weeks. But we start by talking about some news of the week and some moves that have been made by the Houston Texans. Nick Martin is no longer with the squad. The Texans cut him loose, the center, a captain the last few years. He's not with the Texans anymore. Neither is running back Duke Johnson, but the team did announce that tight end Pharaoh Brown, who you have a lot of good things to say, he's coming back, as well as safety A.J. Moore, who's been a standout on special teams, and P.J. Hall, the Sam Houston State product, who played very nicely on the inside of the defensive line last year. When you see some of these moves, and you know there are many, many more moves to come, what's your first impression?
Anytime you have turnover in the front office, this is what happens. He wants to build the roster in the way that he feel like fits best, and I'm excited. I'm excited for Nick Caserio. He's a small school guy like I was, came out of college. We used to beat up on his school a little bit, but it's good. It's good. It's good to have turnover. It's good to have change. So I think that with Nick leading the way, can be some good things happening.
It's nice of a Mount Union guy saying nice things about a John Carroll guy. But let's talk about another guy that you're very, very familiar with, Pharaoh Brown.
Yeah.
He didn't play a whole lot last year, but when he did, he made a big-time impact. There is something there with him in there.
That tight end room is very competitive. But Pharaoh, what he brings to the table, in my opinion, he can block, he can make plays in the passing game. He's not going to be a speedster down the field, but he's reliable. He's going to be at the right spot at the right time. And last year, he came up, like you mentioned, over and over and over again, just making plays, whether it was blocking somebody to the ground, whether it was catching the ball and making, having guys bounce off of him. He's did a really good job making an impact in a short period of time.
Yeah, you want to tackle Pharaoh Brown, you better bring about 5 or 6 people with you. Okay. What are the 2021 Texans going to look like? We're looking at how the franchise is coming together. It's all part of building the Texans.
The 2020 season didn't end the way the Texans were hoping. But with a new year comes new goals and a new regime.
Tell me about the Texans search right now.
Texans are interviewing. Everybody reacts to it. We've got a head coach and a general manager opening here.
Texans will be hiring Nick Caserio. I think this is a great hire by the Houston Texans football team because Nick Caserio knows it all.
I'm excited. Be ready to go. Yeah, it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome.
This is one of the most qualified front office employees in football.
Our goal is to build a program that centers on being selfless, willingly accepting challenges, which we unquestionably will face and have faced and will continue to face each day. Always put the team above yourself. Others before self, team before I. That will be the mindset, and that will be the expectation for everybody that walks into the building on a daily basis.
Following the hire of general manager Nick Caserio, the Texans shifted focus to finding the franchise's 4th head coach.
We didn't want to just rush into anything. We weren't going to make any sort of knee-jerk decisions or reactions and not let, some other things factor into our decision-making mechanism. I think the initial round of interviews was just try to get to know the individual, not so much on an X and O basis, but just as a person, what they're about, what they believe in, what's their philosophy, how do they handle certain situations, and just kind of have an idea of what their background may or may not have been. Not to oversimplify it, but communication, honesty, being able to message the team on a consistent basis, in the building, out of the building. So some of the attributes, again, everybody sometimes gets caught up in the X and O component, and there's different models and different ways to put it together, like what you're concerned about or what your focus is. There's no one-size-fits-all way to do this. I'd say it took a lot of work and a lot of effort, and ultimately we just try to make the best decision that we thought was appropriate for the organization.
Texans expected to hire David Culley as their next head coach.
I'm excited to see a hire like this.
He's been in the NFL as a coach for 27 years.
I'm extremely excited for him.
You wait this long to become a head coach. He deserves it.
His energy, his honesty, I'd say his juice level. I mean, he has an infectious personality, and he is who he is. When you see that pattern of behavior repeat itself over a period of time, that resonates. So you have somebody look at it and say, okay, I can trust this guy. Like, he is who he is. He's going to be consistent, and just his mentality.
So my point is, I mean, that's as good as it gets. And I remember, did I ever tell you a story? I hosted him on his visit when I was at Vanderbilt.
For real?
I hosted him. I was his host.
He's had an expertise relative to coaching technique and coaching fundamentals at his position, right? So the more time you spend around him, the more you realize there's a lot of depth there.
I can't wait to work with you on so many things.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
Good. Good.
Well, we're also looking forward to tomorrow.
Yes, we are.
And having a fun press conference and everything. And we got something for you to wear for your
thank you.
Your jacket for tomorrow.
Yes. Wear it proudly. Wear it proudly. Yes. Good. Can't wait.
It'll be awesome.
Can't wait till tomorrow.
It'll be fun.
You know,
it'll be a fun day.
Official Texans now. All right. First time on the red carpet here, huh? Always wondered, watching the Academy Awards, what it was like to walk the red carpet. Now I kind of feel just like walking on regular carpet.
It is with great pleasure, and it gives me great honor to introduce David Culley, head coach of the Houston Texans.
If you think I'm excited and happy to be here, just look at my face. It is an honor and a privilege to be a part of this organization because of this family. It feels great because you know what? When you're putting pen to paper, it means it's official and it's real. Been waiting on this a long time. Yeah, I was elated. It's hard to describe, but I know those guys that have gone on and got in the position that I'm in right now, they know how I feel. That go way back when, that drive way back when, and says, you know what that formula is. You've seen it work. And whenever that opportunity ever comes up, I'm going to be ready for it. There's such a passion in this league when you coach for what you do that you know that when that opportunity comes, that you're able to release that and be able to do what we're doing right now. So I'm not surprised that I'm here right now. I expected to be here right now. And just so blessed that the McNairs saw that in me, and Nick saw that in me to be able to give me this opportunity.
For head coach David Culley, it's an opportunity that's been a long time in the making. With 27 years of NFL coaching experience, Coach Culley was able to learn from some of the NFL's best.
I saw how Andy Reid did things, the consistency, the focus, and how we brought that franchise together as one. I realized then that I'd love to be able to sit in that seat because I love what he did. I love the way he went about it. I started to feel like that's what I am. And I felt like that I had learned all the things that I need to from him. And as I moved on, as I went to Buffalo with Sean McDermott, and I came to Baltimore with John Harbaugh, who'd been there and done that, he reassured me that at some point, David, you know you could do this. I said, Coach, I felt that way for a little while. This is a new year. This is a new start. What we're getting ready to do now will have nothing to do with what happened in the past. We're going forward right now to do the things that we need to do to be the best franchise that we can be. Where I'm looking forward to making sure that this building and everybody in this building understands that it's all about us. With that one goal in mind is to be a Super Bowl champion. Everybody in this building, from whatever position you are, you're all important. We walk in this building with pride. We walk in this building knowing that where we're going and what that goal is, it's going to be reachable when we all get to that point where you understand. And I'll tell you this, when you see me in this building or when I see you in this building, the one thing I'll always say to you is this, just remember, it's always about us. It's never about me. It's never about you. It's about the Houston Texans.
That's the debut of Building the Texans. There will be much more of that as the offseason continues. So let's talk a little bit more about free agency this year. It's weird. It was weird last year because of the pandemic, and things have changed as far as how you get to talk to guys, who you get to bring into the building, et cetera, et cetera. You were a free agent once or twice in your career. That was just a totally different concept. But on the whole, what's this time of year like for players?
You know what? It's different for every guy. Everybody's situation is different, so you're kind of searching and seeing who's interested in you and what's the best fit for you. But it's kind of like you have no control. It's kind of like a almost draft type feeling as far as, okay, who's interested in me and how many teams are interested in. Hope it's all 32, but it's normally 3 or 4, if that. But it can be time consuming. You can have a little worry here and there, but if you find the right fit for you, and figure out what's best for your family, the right system, it can work out well for you.
We're not going to dive deep into numbers or anything, but the Texans have made some moves that have now freed up a lot of salary cap space. So there will be some flexibility to make moves in free agency and so on and so forth. What sort of positions do you think they might target, might look at? Because it's kind of one of those things where you can cut a wide swath across the football field, and you could help make your team better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think when you let Nick Martin go, who's been here, like you mentioned, he was a captain before, you got to find somebody for that center position, right? I wouldn't be surprised if you look out there and try to find another running back to pair with who they have here now, because you let go of Duke Johnson, I believe. So it's a few things you could do. Will Fuller's still out there. Got to figure out what you want to do with that. And then, of course, the defense side of the ball. Do you want to get a corner? Do you want to get another linebacker? Do you want a safety back there to pair with Justin Reed? Another pass rusher? So it's some things you can do out there. So it's good that Casario's making moves to be able to make moves.
I think the short answers to those 4 questions you just asked are yes, 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 and yes.
There you go.
So, yeah, let's do that. All right, we've got more Texans 360. Stick with us. We're coming right back. We're looking at one of his former teammates. Don't go anywhere. Texans 360 is presented by Kroger, fresh for everyone. Texans 360 presented by Kroger, coming at you from the Ford Studios. Drew Dougherty, Cecil Shorts III. You played here for the Houston Texans a few years back. And one of the guys you played with, long snapper John Weeks. Pretty good teammate, huh?
He was awesome. And he got a little barbecuing skills, too.
Yeah, he does. He does. He was a Pro Bowler the year you guys were here in 2015. I got to go to Honolulu, Hawaii and cover that, thankfully. It's a fun trip. I always love going to the Pro Bowl when it's out there. But he plays and has played in the most games in franchise history. He hit that mark and then exceeded it this season. So naturally, we took a look at who he is. So let's check out this 53 on long snapper John Weeks, who came to us from Arizona by way of Baylor and back to Arizona again. And no matter what happens, win or lose, the Texans going to make a little bit of history on Sunday.
We have men going out to midfield for the coin toss, and one of them, John Weeks for the Texans, about to play in his 170th game for Houston, a new franchise record.
Congratulations. Thanks, brother. Have a good one, all right? Let's go.
John Weeks will snap. Anger with the hold. Fairbairn's kick is up, and it's good!
The famous saying is that you judge a long snapper by not really knowing who the player is, right? I think nothing shows me that the organization has faith in me more than continually let me go out there and do my job at a high level. I've been able to do that for whatever number we're at now, and continually hope to increase that is something that I'm working towards and very proud of. No, I can only hope as a snapper that I can continue to do that at a high level.
Hey, good job, boys. Good job. Hey, that's perfect.
I always liked that it was kind of a thankless job. I've always liked to just stay under the radar. It was one of those things where the more work I put into it, the more comfortable I got with it and the better I got with it. I thought I had a chance to be good at it. I thought it was going to give me the opportunity to go to a very good school and get a great education, so I continued to work at it, and here we are. There was a time for 2 years when I was out of football working towards becoming a firefighter that I thought that dream and that reality of becoming a professional football player was over, and that's fine.
Jonathan Weeks, Baylor University. That's a strike.
I gave myself a few months, told myself I'd give it one more crack at it, and prepared for that camp, and when I showed up, I had a good day.
Perfect.
The first time I got to actually put on the uniform was back in my hometown of Phoenix for the preseason. So getting to experience the moment of putting on the NFL jersey for the first time with all the people that had encouraged me for those 2 years to continue to work towards my dream and my goal, that was probably the most special moment for me.
All right, here we go. Come on.
To give it one more go and to be able to sign with the team and then to continuously be going. You know, to look back 11 years later and just look back at my journey and my career is something that I'll cherish and be very proud of.
The snap is down, snap is down, snap is down, and it's
coming
gone!
from my peers, coming from the guys that I share the field with every day, to have their respect is kind of, for me, what it's all about. You know, as long as I know that those guys in the locker room, they respect me, they know that, you know, I'm willing to do whatever I can for the team, whatever I can for the city, and when a time comes and we're called upon to go hit a game-winning field goal, to know that those guys trust me and know that I'm going to deliver my guys a good ball to put it through the uprights, that's what means the world to me, and I'm thankful for every play I get to share in the uniform.
Weeks with the snap, Anger with the hold. The snap is down, Fairbairn's kick is up, and it's good! And the Texans go to the divisional round in dramatic fashion.
Texas 360's back, Drew and Cecil, and the Combine did not happen in 2021. It was the last thing we kind of all did together back in 2020 before the pandemic started, but Indianapolis, the NFL, shut it down. They didn't gather together, you know, media-wise, NFL front office-wise, and players-wise this year. So instead, the tests, you know, all that stuff, the physical stuff will happen at college pro days. There have been guys invited to go through the medical stuff, which is going to be kind of run by the league, and then some of the interviews from the team. Those guys have been invited, so a lot of guys are going to get left out. But what is your thought, and how do you think this all goes down after not having after having a combine last year but not having one this year?
It's going to be different. It's like every offseason the last 2 years has been different challenges. Last year, like everything was Zoom. This year, no combine.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just what we're in right now. So it's going to be different. It's going to be different for the players. I used that time, or I shouldn't say I used that time. That time was good for me to experience and see other guys and make relationships. Guys I still talk to today, like Torrey Smith, that we came out in the same draft class. But they won't have that experience. But it'll be a lot of fun. I think you still, as a scout, as a GM, as a head coach, can go to the campuses and get your job done and see, okay, this player and that player. And it might be even better for some of the under the radar players. Because you go to a particular school and you get to see this receiver or this D lineman, they look good in there. So and at the combine, they might have been invited to the combine. So it could be good and bad, but I think it's a good adjustment.
As a guy who ripped it up on the field at Mount Union, even though you played for that lesser competition, you were a little bit of a known quantity. But what happened for you once you got to the combine and did what you did? How did things change for you?
It helped in a big way. Just being able to be on that stage. It's only 300 some odd players invited, and to be on that stage in front of those guys, you got Jerry Jones sitting there watching you with the clock watch, and I'm sitting there at the 40-yard line peeking up like, that's really Jerry right there. But it's just pretty cool to be there. And when you perform well in that stage, because to me, the combine is set up for adversity. Instead of to see how well you do fighting through adversity, because you're up early, taking certain tests, you're meeting with tons of scouts, you're meeting with different teams, it's meetings all type of places, and you still have to get ready to compete and show what's going on. So if you can go out there and play and perform awesome, your stock can go up a little bit.
You played wide receiver, you played it well in the NFL, but did you show off the hose when you were at the combine? Because you wound up throwing 2 touchdown passes as a pro.
They wouldn't let me show the hose. They were more worried about Cam Newton and those guys there, but hey, it's all good.
Well, you're going to have to watch a little bit later in the offseason, because John Harris and I did a film room look back at your touchdown pass to Alfred Blue against the Jets in 15.
That's fun.
We have a good time with that. But we're going to have more of a good time when we come back on Texans 360. Don't you move a muscle.
Today, I'm announcing we have established the Houston-Harris County 2021 Winter Storm Relief Fund. A fund advisory board has been established to lead fundraising efforts and oversee the grant-making process.
The mayor called. He said, Cal, I need you to help me. I said, how can we help, Mr. Mayor? And he wanted to put together a group of leaders in the community and wanted us to join him. And I just said, absolutely, tell us how we can help. Well, it's one of our pillars to do great things for Houston, and that's what we believe in. We are in the community. We were born here. We live here. We love the community and love being here, and we'll do what we can whenever the community needs help. We're here.
We're back. Texans 360 rolls on. Drew Dougherty, Cecil Shorts III. You know, you had a fun conversation with Deepi Sidhu earlier this week. You guys covered all manner of things, including how you fared during the ice storm, and we're glad you and the fam are okay. We're sorry for those of you who have experienced a lot of hardship. And the Texans have always been big on giving back, you know, doing great things for the community. You did so as a player. You're doing so now, helping us out in the Legends community. Pretty fun, huh?
It was awesome, man. And then the fact, because it seems like anything that happens in Houston, everybody comes together.
Yeah.
Everybody comes together and gives back. And the Texans do an awesome job. The McNairs lead the way, do an awesome job of finding ways, creative ways to be able to give back to the communities, be in the tougher areas, be all around the surrounding suburbs of Houston. And it was a lot of fun, man, just to meet and greet the people. And people were still in a good mood, even though a lot was going on with the storm.
For sure, for sure. Very cool stuff. And you know what else is cool? Every year, the Texans partner up with Operation Finally Home and some others, and they give a wounded veteran a brand new mortgage-free home. They give it away at a game. They surprise that wounded veteran, and then later on in the year, they have a groundbreaking. Well, we were recently at the groundbreaking, and this is what happened.
We're honored to be here today to break ground on a new home for Staff Sergeant Stefan Netzley and his daughter Mrazi. Stefan was injured in combat in Afghanistan several years ago, and this is just perfect timing for his family, where he is in his life.
I'd say that the thing that I'm feeling the most is gratitude. With everything that's going on, it's just amazing to have a safe home that we can come home to. Place to lay our head in a great community, safe community, a large home that my daughter can play in. It's going to be amazing.
We're really excited about the groundbreaking today, and we're just as excited, if not more so, to be coming back in about 3 months and dedicating this home and actually moving them into their new mortgage-free home.
Always cool to see the Operation Finally Home house get the ground broken. Very good stuff. Hey, it was fun talking with you. You want to come back and do this again sometime soon?
Please, let me know.
I like it. That's a victory for us. That's a victory for you, more importantly. We really appreciate you watching Texans 360 this week. Also, thanks to Tyler Marcotte, Mitchell Moreland, and the rest of the gang that made this show happen. Until we see you again, go Texans. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.